This is Shadrick Bogart. He's shown up in a couple of, I think I've done a couple shorts with him in it. He's a frog furby buddy. He's one of my many Furbies. Hi, I'm Bun. If you didn't know, I like Furbies. And on top of Furbies, I also like mermaids. Which is not a shocker. If you just peek at my channel, you'll see a bunch of playlists and stuff. But this is Shaddy. Shaddy is what I call my little travel Furby, which means he gets to go places with me. Because I like having a Furby with me for fun and flavor. And he often gets to come to work with me. He is officially considered an employee at my work, unofficially. Unofficially. To the point that if I don't go to work and I don't bring him with me, sometimes people are like, where's your little friend? And it's just like, he got the day off. So he comes to work with me. And Shaddy sometimes wears pants. I will put up some photos of Shaddy in his pants. Shaddy also has several different necklaces that he wears. Shaddy is a very fashionable child. And you might be wondering, Bun, you mentioned mermaids already. Yes, because today, on Mermy, we are going to be making Shaddy a mermaid tail. So he may be a Merby, a merfurby. So I have already done a bit of a test. So what my plan is to do is I'm going to use the shell stitch, which is just single crochets and double crochets, and I'm going to be alternating colors, and we're just going to make a flat piece that goes around Shaddy and then extends down to make him the long, elegant Merby that he desires to be. And then I will seam up the back with the back fin and then make his tail fin and stuff like that. But first things first is we have to actually make the base thing. This was my tester piece. It is a 36 because you do shell stitches in 6s. But as you can see, we are one shell short of actually reaching around Shaddy's plump little booty. This is not a tutorial. This is going to be me screwing around and making something slightly ridiculous because I am a ridiculous human being because the world needs more whimsy. And the whimsy gods decided that we will be making a Merby. So I won't be taking this piece apart. I did take the darker blue piece apart, but I'm going to just go ahead and snip that. Just so I can have this for reference that I need to make it longer. So as you can see, this is what we had. I will still be using the same blue. I have this blue, I have this multicolored blue, and then I have that darker blue. And I am using a G-hook, a 4mm, because I want to. That's what I decided, and that's what I'm doing. So, like I said, not a tutorial. I'm just gonna go off of pure vibes. And we're gonna hopefully make Shaddy a little mermaid tail. So, like I said, I'm gonna chain it in 6s. So this one was 36, so I'm gonna do 42. Do a quick little checky check. Can you reach around the Shaddy? You can reach around the Shaddy. Alright. So, we have the start of the beautiful Shaddy mertail. And then I'm going to add one more, so it's technically 43. And then I'm going into the back stitch of the stitches because I want to add a frill on top later. Because what I'm hoping to do essentially is I will be adding a little frill that he could possibly stick his little feet out of, but I'm not fully committed to that one yet. He might just have his feet fully hidden inside, but I still want to give him the little frill. I've actually made a mermaid tail thing before for a different Furby. I'm not going to go grab him because he is currently over on the desk and I don't want to grab him. He is comfortable. He is sitting on top of my mini gachapon staring into the sky. But I have another Furby. His name is Brecky and he has a fishtail hat, which I actually made for him last May because I like to try to do mermaid. So what I'm going to do is go in these little back bumps Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And I'm gonna single crochet across. And I miscounted because I should have added an extra stitch at the end. Oh well! I will do what I normally do, which is skip. So I should have added an extra stitch here, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna do a single crochet into that one and call it good. Because once you have the base shells, you're good. So I'm gonna pull that up. Do not roll away from me. And snoop. So we have that initial row in, and I'm going to go into the multicolored yarn. You would have thought I'd go into the blue because I went into the dark colored yarn the first time, but I want to use the multicolored yarn as the repeat section. So this will be the one that gets used the most in this Furby Merby. Kind of wish I had a spine to stick in the tail. That'd be fun. I can always add a spine later. Make him unofficially a long V. So what I'm going to do is make a slip stitch, well, slip knot, not a slip stitch, yarn over, and then into that first single crochet that I did on the initial row, because you'll notice I am not turning my work, and there's a specific reason for that, because I'm going to be attaching my yarn on every row. So I'm only doing, so I did a standing double, a double double, then into the third, a single, 5 doubles here. But anyway, why didn't I turn my work? Because I don't want to. We are crocheting off of vibes. And because this is just something personal that I don't really care about the craftsmanship fully of it. Not to say I don't care about the craftsmanship of it. I'm still going to make it nice. But I don't care about how to the book kind of thing it looks. I've made a mermaid tail before, a mermaid blanket. I have it on it's actually on my desk chair. And honestly, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. It's just going to change the texture, because instead of having your double crochets changing sides, because I'm adding a different color each time, there's not really a reason for me to want to flip my work. Like, my stitches aren't going to lean one way or the other because of the type of stitching I'm doing. And Shaddy's just watching. He's watching his majestic tail come through. It's funny because you wouldn't think it would be as wide as it currently is just to go around one little Furby. And yet. then like we started. 1, 2, and 3. And pull through. So we have the first 2 rows of his delightful little tail done. I am now going to take the dark blue and again slip knot onto the hook, and in this very first one we're just going to do a single crochet and then just do repeat. So I'm going to stop talking and just vibe and get this as long as I want it to be, and then start making it smaller, because it's not going to stay flat because I need to start decreasing it after a certain point. But for now we just vibe. I have now connected the tail, and I'm just continuing on a little bit with the pattern, and then I'm going to just finish it off. And then I'm going to go to bed because it's 5 in the morning and I've been crocheting for almost 2 hours straight, and I worked a full shift before I started this. And Shadrick is going to be majestic. What I'm gonna do is that, go over here, loop there, go into that hole. Oops, so high. Oops, come on. Bump. The very tip of his tail is now cinched, and I will add his tail fin once I make it. But for now, the majority of Shaddy's tail has been completed. I gotta decide what color his fins are gonna be. It's the other reason I need to take a break. Again, it's 5 a.m. and I worked, and I've been at this for 2 hours. And I'm tired. Would like to go to sleep. A majestically long tail for my Shaddy, because he's going to be a majestic Merby. So I'm going to stop here for the night, and then I will work on his fin tomorrow. And by fin, I mean I'm going to do the top fin here, his little tail fin, and he's going to have a long back fin that is going to seam up his lovely little mer tail, which honestly, like, I joked that I just like the color blue when I started working on this, but quite honestly, the 3 colors that I picked, the dark blue, the lighter blue, and then that variegated blue, came out with this really pretty scale pattern. So I actually really enjoy the scaling pattern that I got off of those color choices, and they go really well with Shaddy because there's green in the blue. So I think this works very well as Shaddy's little mer tail. So I'm going to bed now, and then I will work on his fins tomorrow, which is technically today. Sleep has occurred. It is time to do the fins to get his tail done. I did decide I'm gonna just use this color because I like the multicolored. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Basically just gonna fucking attach them. Also, you can see now why I did the back loops, because it gives me the nice top V's to work in. Just to make my life a tiny bit easier. And I'm not going to care about all the ends, because this is a silly little mermaid tail for my Furby, so they're going to live forever inside. And I'm just gonna fucking single crochet all the way down, and then figure out what I'm doing after that. Might do another scallopy edge thing, but we will cross that bridge when I arrive at that bridge. For now though, everything just gets... Also, you'll see that when I get to these pieces here, I'm just gonna fold the little triangle piece over and then just shoop all the way down. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna watch videos on my iPad while I'm doing this, so... So all the ends that are unsightly have been sequestered and hidden away inside of the tail. We now have a tube, a sock for Shaddy to put his little booty in. I didn't tie off the end here because I do want to make this back fin taller. I don't want it to just be a single row of crochets, so I'm going to attempt to do a scallop edge on it, which is pretty much the exact same thing that makes a shell stitch. Scallops and shells are pretty much the same thing. But we'll pull that loop out a bit so I can move the tail around so Shaddy can wiggle his little fur booty in here to give it a little test fit. See how majestic he's looking. I think that's a pretty decent Merby. Like, check that out. He is looking good. Maybe if I'm crazy enough, I'll buy another faceplate and make an actual crocheted Merby. That'd be funny. No one wants that. Oh yeah, while I was picking up earlier, I actually was able, because I mentioned that Shaddy has a bunch of different pants, I did find one of his sets of pants, so these are his original set of pants that I crocheted for him. Also crocheted purely on vibes. But his little pantaloons. So he typically wears pants for work, but I'm letting him be free. But I'm going to attempt to do a scallop on this. So I slip stitched into this, so I am going to, instead of doing a single crochet because I want to keep it flatter, I am just going to go straight into doing the double off of the slip stitch. And I think I'm not going to do single crochets, I'm just going to do slip stitches instead because I don't need to go back into them. So we're just going to go off of vibes. I could have made it pointy, that is an option, but I'm going to go with scallops. Scallops are cute, I like doing scallops. Back fin is done. I'm gonna do his little top frill here, so single crochet here, and then rotate. I'm going to 1, 2, and I'm only going in the front loop here. That way it'll lay kind of flat, and I'm doing the same scalloping. I will use single crochets instead of slip stitches on this. And I know there should be enough for scallops on this versus the kind of messing with it on this part. That was kind of a guesstimation, but I know there's enough scallops on this one because it was made for the shell stitch. So I know I should be able to do a decent amount of little scallops. I went in this direction versus this direction, that way the nicer looking part of the stitch will be up on top, which is where you would be looking. again, I'm not bothering with weaving my ends in because Shaddy's gonna live in here. But if I was making him a little eel, merfurb, if I was making him an eelerb, I would consider that good, but I want to give him a tail fin. So we're gonna gently put a Shaddy. Oh yeah. Look at that majestic Merby. Don't you want to crash your boat to get some of this? But I'm going to... I dropped my crochet hook. Right. Now to make him some tail fins. I'm gonna use like a leaf pattern type of thing. And I do need to leave tails on this one because I'm gonna have to sew it in. And then just like every other fucking end in this project, we're just gonna take it and put it inside, because it's not gonna matter. Just need to get down here, grab this tail, and there we have it. A beautiful Merby tail for my Shaddy. He is majestic. He do a little flippa. Like, look at him. He's gonna sing you a song and lure your boat and eat your fish. Thanks for hanging out for this really silly little thing. Did I need to make his tail nearly this long? No, but I like long Furbies, so he gets to have a long tail, because I can. Thanks for hanging out. Bye!